Shawna Swanberg. Shawna Swanberg is a two-time distinguished Toastmaster and a three-time evaluations contest top 3 finalist. Shawna believes the purpose of an evaluation is to help another person become a better speaker and leader. She knows firsthand how an effective evaluation can raise a speaker's capability to communicate more clearly and comfortably, and that every speech we evaluate is an opportunity, not just for that speaker to grow, but also the members of the audience and the evaluators themselves to be elevated into higher places of personal and professional development. The title of her speech, Evaluate to Elevate. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster, Shawna Swanberg.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Do we have guests online? Wait, you're a guest. You look so familiar to me. Do I need both microphones? Can I turn this one off? Oh, thank you. Now we can start the clock, please. Thanks. Fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmaster. Effective evaluation is an art of itself. Wouldn't you agree? You've heard evaluations, you know when you've heard something that makes sense, that's good. It's artistic, it's not just thrown together, it fits into pieces of itself. It's a speech of its own, it's a commentary with a distinct objective and purpose. Ultimately, no matter how you organize your evaluations, the best evaluations elevate the speaker, offering opinions and expressions that can lead to improvement. And by improvement, I mean not just for the speaker, but for the listeners and the evaluator too. Every verbal evaluation after a speech is a learning experience for everyone in the room and everyone on Zoom. An effective evaluation can help a speaker know what strengths are already present, what could be improved, and what might be useful ideas for future speeches. As a mere listener in the audience, you have a job too. You may not be aware that your own speaking skills might be improved by something you hear in an evaluation, and your own evaluation skills can benefit. All of this by experiencing someone else's evaluation. I have given more than 1,000 evaluations in my 10 years in Toastmasters. I've evaluated in clubs, contests, special events, informal situations, such as an impromptu dinner party. I've even evaluated eulogies and ministerial sermons. For me, evaluations come naturally. For others, perhaps you, it's a challenge to find the content for a terrific evaluation. So what is it that makes it so clear for me? Elevation. Elevation means to lift up, to raise to a more important level, to move from a lower to a higher position, to increase and to fill with great joy. All that goes into an effective evaluation. Let's break down some of this into the evaluation context. I like to separate my paper into 4 parts. The opening, which I actually write last, and then a box for things done well, things to improve, and things to challenge. My first step in any evaluation is to note the obvious. Sometimes it's about appearance. Sometimes it's about the speaker's knowledge and confidence in the subject. Sometimes it's highlighting the speaker's sense of humor. First things first, what's obvious? Start there. And how can pointing out the obvious bring the speaker to a higher place in their speaking work? This is where we begin elevation. So I take note of the obvious. When I see a speaker so nervous that the speech itself is lost in fidgeting, pacing, rocking back and forth, looking constantly at notes, like I am, I like to write these things down in the things to improve column. When I notice a great opening line that captures my attention, makes me curious, and entices me to listen for more, well, I put that down in the strengths box. I write that down if I see that a story helps make a message more clear, a well-organized speech, I write that down. Sometimes what's obvious is all you need to describe a good evaluation. Sometimes that's all you have time for. But when we have the simple stuff, the obvious stuff, and we make sure that our speaker knows that they have these strengths, those strengths shouldn't be left behind. We build on strengths when we become speakers. Just because we're strong in it doesn't mean we've reached the pinnacle. We can get stronger. When somebody told me that I was strong in humor in an evaluation, I thought, you've got to be nuts. I come from a background in medical and technical writing. Oh, how boring. I come to Toastmasters and I write like a reporter. And I deliver my speeches as if I'm at a medical conference. But I made a funny. And somebody pointed that out in one of my evaluations, said, "You're funny. You should do more of that." So I did. Well, you guys know what I do about a tape measure, right? Yeah. Well, that's because somebody told me, get more funny. An evaluation, a really good evaluation, can change your speaking style, can change your life. So an evaluation is something that we look for as elevation, not criticism. There's nothing negative about what could be improved in a speech, nothing at all. An evaluation is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to be grown because you're listening to it, to elevate your accomplishments as a speaker. So the next time you evaluate a speaker in a speech, think elevation. When you reach higher, they can too. Mr. Toastmaster.